This letter, written by Major Lennon to Father Aloysius on the 2nd of May 1916, asks Friar Aloysius to quickly come to visit Patrick Pearse before Pearse's imminent execution. Father Aloysius, in his record of the events of the Rising, notes that when he told Pearse that he had given Connolly Holy Communion that morning, Pearse looked up to heaven and said, "Thank God, it's the one thing I was anxious about." Father Aloysius spent the night between the 2nd and 3rd of May going between the cells of Pearse and Thomas MacDonagh, hearing their confessions and giving them Holy Communion, as they spent their final hours in prayer. Father Aloysius reported that both men were happy, no trace of fear or anxiety. He thought he would be allowed to stay with them until it was over, but between 2 and 3 a.m. he was ordered to leave. Outraged by this, he appealed to the British Army headquarters the next day and was able to get the rule changed before the next set of executions. 2 days later, Father Aloysius was summoned again, this time at 2 a.m. to the bedside of Connolly. This time he was able to stay and witness the execution from just behind the firing line. The leaders of the Rising specifically asked for the Capuchin priest to visit them in prison because the Capuchin order responded to the Easter Rising much differently than the hierarchy of the Catholic Church. While Dublin parish priests had to follow the mandates of the Archbishop of Dublin, Capuchin priests like Father Aloysius were free to interpret the morality of the Rising according to their own consciences. The Capuchin priests did not explicitly support Pearse's theological viewpoint. However, they did feel that if a person truly believed in what they were doing was right, it was not the place of the priest to tell them that they were doing wrong. This led to priests like Father Aloysius giving last rites to prisoners both during the War of Independence and the Irish Civil War. The Rising leaders believed that Ireland's freedom would prevent further evil being done. Pearse in particular felt that even if the Rising failed in the short term, the sacrifices made by its leaders would inspire greater support for the cause of Irish independence and ultimately lead to long-term success. History proves Pearse right. It was his execution and the executions of the other Rising leaders that turned the tide of public opinion towards supporting the cause of Irish independence. As this letter demonstrates, during their final hours, the leaders of the Easter Rising displayed great devotion to their faith and a steadfast conviction that their actions had been right. This devotion and the personal connection between the Rising leaders and priests like Father Aloysius came to public attention immediately after the executions and was key to the turning of the tide of public opinion and to the ultimate success of the War of Independence.